Hi, I'm RobCosman. Welcome to my shop. In this video, we're going to show you how to mill a log in your shop. A couple of months ago, I spent $500 on this Verawood log, and I have no idea what I got, but if you stick around, we'll find out together whether or not my money was well spent. I'm RobCosman, and welcome to my shop. We make it our job to help take your woodworking to the next level. If you're new and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit the notification bell so you'll receive alerts when we release a new video. And anytime we use a special tool, we'll always leave a description down below. All right, let's get to work. This log is Verawood, comes from Argentina. It's heavy as lead. I'm going to guess and say that it weighs 50 pounds. But if you've never seen Verawood, and the reason I spent that kind of money is because we turned into saws and marking cages, but it's a beautiful emerald green. But that's the color that it oxidizes to. You cut this in the bandsaw, you'll have a little pile of yellow sawdust, and a few hours later, it'll be green sawdust. I'm just gonna take this piece that's been sitting in my tool tray for the last couple of weeks, and I'm gonna show you what I mean. So we'll plane the edge and get down through that oxidized surface. By the way, it's extremely fragrant, and you get into more of a yellow color. It'll get even deeper than that if we went a little bit further, but I don't want to waste this. So, first thing we got to do is clean this up somewhat and see if we can figure out what the rings are, where our first cut should be, and then be careful. I mean, at $500 for the log, I'm going to be saving my sawdust. So I think the smartest thing to do is to go over to the chop saw. It's too heavy to try to do it on the bandsaw. Go on the chop saw. I'll have to make multiple cuts, but I just want to at least take off a little bit off of the end. What I want to be able to get out of this is wood for saw handles. So I need a full inch, and I need it to be, I need 4 3/4 inches in width. So I can't get more than maybe 3 boards out of this. The rest of it we'll use for smaller tools. And I'm thinking I should probably go over to the jointer and just cut a flat spot on here so it doesn't roll around as bad. There's the yellow I was talking about. I think I'll take one more pass just to make it a little wider. I've got a 1/2 inch blade on there. And I think it looks like a 4 to 3 teeth per inch. Now, you don't want that to roll on you, but it's heavy enough, and that flat spot I think is wide enough that it'll prevent it from rolling. Now, if you look at that, that's full of end checks. I don't know how far they're going to go, but I'm going to take another, maybe I'll take as much as a 1/2 inch off. I'm going to put it on, I'm going to get a dust mask because this stuff bothers me. The good news is I thought this was going to be the center of the tree, the log. It's not. It's down here, so that means we can get valuable wood from all of this. A little bit of sap right there. Now, if you're wondering why I'm saving this sawdust, I got a friend named Super Dave Benson. He would take this over gold dust. Stuff is really oily, so it moves over the table so easily. All right, now we got to figure out what we're going to make our first cut. I'm going to take this back over the bench. We'll have a close look. Okay, so where do we make our cuts? This is, because this doesn't have the pith or the center of the tree to work with, we could actually go in, flatten off one side, and just start taking off slices. And that would give us our maximum yield. And I'm not trying to get it quarter sawn. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I'm just trying to say how we're going to get the best yield out of this, and at the same time get some interesting look. That piece is pretty much quarter sawn, so you don't see a whole lot of grain. So if we leave that flat on the bench, and that is almost straight along that end. So what I'll do maybe is go over to the joiner first, and if we could get the add an auxiliary fence, we could lay up against this, lay up against that, so that we're square, and then get a square edge down here that we can put up against the, we have to put an auxiliary fence on the bandsaw, and then just start slicing it off. Now we just put that blade on there, so it should stay nice and true. It is. All right, let's cut that. Make another pass. Now, let's put this on. Now, Jake suggests that since our first pass is not going to be wide enough to get a saw handle out of. That we can also use it for making kerf extend handles or for making chisel handles. So what do we need for a chisel handle? 1 3/8. You want the bandsaw guides down as low as possible for a couple of reasons. Of course, there's the safety feature, but the other thing is it's the guides that are going to keep the blade from twisting. So the closer the guides are to the wood, the less twist it's going to allow it to do or drift. So I can bring that down at least another inch. Want to make sure I clear everything. First expensive cut. Yeah. Now my biggest fear was that we cut into this and we find it all checked. The other problem is it going to check afterwards because it wasn't dry? Now that may not look like much right now, but when that greens up, hard to believe that this will end up being that. Now, I could run that over to the jointer, but you know what? That's such a nice smooth cut. I'm not going to. Just because I don't want to waste any. Shoot. Let's set it over there at least and have a look. Now, I'm going to adjust this so we're taking a light pass. Alright, I'm going to cut this one. It seems to like nice and dry. So I'm just going to go just barely over an inch.
Did you notice this?
What? Did I notice what? Oh, the center of the tree's here? No, I didn't. So it's going off like that. Well, we can get 2 more passes before we have to deal with that. Well, this stuff that has so much resin in it. It's not light dust. So we can get 4 more pieces. So that makes each one of these about $100. Have a look at this. Now, I'm going to sticker this. I'll show you and clamp it to help hold it in place. But I'm just going to grab my guides real quick and see what kind of a yield we can get out of this. So when we are laying out for saw handles, if you're interested, the grain needs to run parallel to that narrow spot. So we made these out of plexiglass so you can look through and actually see what kind of or what kind of look you're going to get in the grain. So we have to go on this side because we have to pay attention to that waney part. But we can go in here. It's nice when you can get two, but we can't on that one. So we got to go in and try to figure out where our best yield is going to be, and then if there's anything in particular that we want to grab. There's a little bit of sap in one of these pieces, so I want to get that in. That just makes it look a little more interesting. But that's what our thought process is, and we'll go down and try to get as many out of there as possible. I think this was a good buy. I don't see, there's a check right there. I'm not sure how far it goes, but I can feel it. All right, let's make another cut. Now that skipped quite a bit. We'll take another pass. Really happy to see there's no checks in this, other than those little ones at the end. Yeah, it's 1 1/16. It's ideal. Okay, so here's what we got. This has been fantastic. And just to give you some idea, I'll tell you how many board feet. So this one, well, actually this one, no, that one's got, let's do this one right here. So 27 times, we'll go in the middle, 7.5 equals 202.5 divided by 144 gives us approximately, well, it's 1.4 board feet. So if we got, say that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times that, I would guess and say we got about 6 board feet. So 6 board feet, $500 divided by 6, so $83.33 a board foot. Not bad. Mind you, all the dust we have to send Dave. That's worth all that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sticker this. I'm going to put it all back together the way it came. I'm going to sticker it, clamp it, so that best chance it'll keep everything nice and flat. And we'll let it sit probably for a month just to see if anything happens. Now, if you want to know if it's actually in equilibrium with your shop, what you would do, in fact, we can do that because we've got an accurate scale. Take a piece of wood, weigh it, record it, and then every week or so weigh it again. And if it loses weight, well, then you know then that wood was wet compared to your shop. If it gains weight, well, then this was dry compared to your shop. And if week to week it just fluctuates a little bit, then you know you've reached equilibrium and it's just matching the environment you're in. So if that's the case, then we're good to go. Don't have to worry about any checks happening. All right, I'm going to take a piece of 3/4 ply just because I have it. Cut it in 1/2-inch strips, and we'll stick it at the ends and one in the middle. So I'm going to need several of these. You want them all to be the same. All right, so we'll go one out there, one in the middle. I mean, you want them right on top of each other too, meaning next board, and the next one goes right up top, right above that. The air can get around them. What's the next one, do you know? This one? Like that? Or like that? Huh? Now I'm going to get some clamps that I don't use very often. Now I couldn't find the clamps that I was looking for, so I'll have to use my good ones. So I'm just going to put some weight right over the cawls. And we'll let this sit. Actually, I'm probably going to take it off. Again, I'm going to weigh this one piece, and we'll just see how it moves over the course of the next week or so, and see if there's any change. If you like my work, if you like my style of teaching, click on any one of these videos to help take your woodworking to the next level. And I've always said, better tools make it a whole lot easier. If you click on the icon with the plane and the chisel, it'll take you to our website, introduce you to all of our tools, and also talk to you about our online and in-person workshops. Good luck in your woodwork.